Okay, so you saw our little extravaganzas. Now let's get to what we're gonna be eating. I wanted to get back to the way I started this trip to fit, where I focused on the micronutrient density of all the foods that we were eating, that I was eating, and because I realized that's what made me feel the best. Focusing on eating a lot of greens, making sure you get your fats, but focusing on eating a lot of greens, eating the healthiest food that you can possibly eat for that meal, is a big difference. So I'm gonna get back to that, and that is gonna be the overall theme to the way we're gonna structure the rest of our life. Guys, my meal prep is very simple, like especially when you're just getting started and jumping back into things. I don't overcomplicate anything really. This meal prep anybody can do. It shouldn't take very long. The staples for me are always ground beef. And I like to get 85-15 ground beef, only because I like to include fats in a different assortment of, foods, I guess. That being avocados, maybe cheese, anything of that sorts. And then, of course, you have chicken breast. I prefer ground beef more, but I've been eating it quite a bit lately, so I wanted to throw some chicken breast. And I'll show you how to prepare this. I found that actually throwing the chicken breast in some salt water, it's called brining, for about 15 minutes, changes the game on that. Now, these veggies here that you see, except for the avocado, we're gonna steam. So, we got spinach here. I got 2 little things of spinach. I'm just gonna cut this up and I'm gonna steam it. Same thing with the broccoli. Again, just steaming it. Got kale, we're gonna steam that as well. And cauliflower, we're gonna mince it and almost cook it like you would a fried rice. So technically, I guess, fry it. So we're gonna do that with the cauliflower. Avocados, you can see, I love avocados, and I realize they make keto a lot easier. And I feel like once you get into keto, avocados almost become like apples. Like it's a nice snack, nice thing to add on to your meal. It just makes you feel much better. So let's get to it. I'm gonna brine the chicken. I'm gonna steam the veggies. Cut up some onions, throw it with the ground beef. This isn't hard. We're getting back into things. Okay, for the brining, we're just gonna grab a bowl, fill it with water, fill it with salt, fill it with chicken, and let it sit for 15 minutes. Bam. Then we're gonna begin adding the chicken in. Just a nice wash off will do, and just throw that bad boy in there. We got another one. Move it over to a safe space. All right, so for the vegetables, I literally just saw everything that you, took everything that you saw on the table, cut it up, and threw it into this pan. It's really that simple. No need to overcomplicate. I poured about a bottle of water with the water in there, and just set it right on top. Set the lid on top, let it steam in there, and let it cook. As it cooks, it's gonna get smaller, and as it gets smaller, you can add some more vegetables if you'd like. I'm gonna throw in the rest of this kale as this gets smaller. So we're gonna let that cook, and we're gonna work on the ground beef. We still have another about 5 minutes of letting that chicken brine, and then that's gonna go in the oven as well. Okay, so we're gonna work on the ground beef, and the simplest thing that you can do in ground beef, in my opinion, is just cutting up some onions and throwing it in there with the ground beef. Adds good flavor, adds a little bit of a different texture, without, again, overcomplicating things. I eat very simple when I cook for myself because I've never been somebody who seasons my food too much or throws too much sauce on the food. So just throwing in some onions with the ground beef and letting it cook like that, and a little bit of salt and pepper, changes the game. So we're gonna cut these up, throw them in a pan, and let them release some of their juices and burn up a little. I like them like that. I like it like that. Before we add the ground beef. And we can see it's getting a real nice dark color. It's all sinking to the bottom. We've got some more room to add some more kale, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna finish that piece of kale, let it sit for a little bit longer, and we're gonna call that a night. Okay, so veggies are done. Put them off to the side. It's gonna be a great topping. Got the cauliflower going right now. So I lied, we're not gonna fry it. We're just gonna steep it in water, let the water boil over for about 15 minutes. Then we're gonna put it into a food processor, and that'll be our base, like you would have a base carb. We're gonna have a base cauliflower. Chicken is right now cooking. I believe we're gonna do 450 degrees for about 30 minutes. Or until it's 165 degrees in its internal temperature of the chicken, of course. So follow safety guidelines and shit like that. Don't just follow what I'm telling you. Use these directions at your discretion. All that other bullshit. Now, if we take a look, this is how I like the onions. They're very crispy, almost burnt. Now I'm going to just add some pepper, and then I'm going to throw the ground beef right into this mixture right here. So it's been about 15-20 minutes. We're going to take this cauliflower, put it right into the food processor, into our bowl. Doing this prior to using the food processor will make it a lot easier, especially if you have a hand crank food processor like the one that I have right here. Got our cauliflower. Our chicken is looking beautiful. Ground beef is done. We got all our veggies. And we got a ton of avocados. So our meal prep for the next 3 to 4 days is going to be done. But real quick, let me show you what one of those meals looks like. So when it's all said and done, both of the meals are going to look like this. One is 8 ounces of chicken, which is over here underneath the cheese, 200 grams of cauliflower, and you have 100 grams of steamed mixed veggies. On top of that, I put 2 servings of pepper jack cheese to help increase the fats. It's exactly the same thing over here, except the chicken, we have ground beef, and I'll just be alternating these 2 meals throughout the day, probably having about 3 meals. So this plus 1 more with chicken or 1 more with broccoli until all that food is gone. That'll probably last me about 3 to 4 days. So meal prep took about 2 hours in total, 2.5 hours. It's got some more cleanup to do.